Of linear equations, I wanted to just remind you of the general equation in slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b, where m is your slope and b is your y-intercept. I like to say that the b helps you remember to begin the graph by placing a point on the y-axis, which is your up and down line. Then m, for your slope, is to move the appropriate rise and run to get to the next point. Then you'll connect the points with a straight edge. But there's some special cases, and I want to talk about those before we go into graphing and finding solutions. If you have like x as a number, such as like x equals 5, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to graph where x equals 5. So I go where x equals 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm just going to draw a vertical line right through there. What that tells me is that everywhere on here, the x is 5. So 5, 0 here, 5, 1 here, 5, 2 here, etc. So everywhere on this vertical line, x is 5. So I help people remember by saying, it's a little play on words here, we exercise standing up. I know some of you are going to say, oh, you can do sit-ups and stuff, but we're only focused on, maybe running in place or things of that nature. Okay, y equals a number, so y equals 2, you should be thinking, why exercise when you could lay down? So if you're anything like me, you like the feeling of exercising and the feeling you get when you're finished, but actually doing it, if you had a choice, sometimes I'd choose to lay down. Okay, of course, that's why I don't want to be on this video, because I don't like the way I look. But regardless, here it is. So y equals 2 is a horizontal line. So these are two you just have to memorize, okay? Because it's opposite of what you'd think sometimes, because a lot of people say y equals, and they're thinking, well, the y-axis is up and down. But look, the tick marks on the y are left and right. Okay, so using that, we're going to look at a few examples to help us solve. Okay, now I just pulled these equations up off of another site, and it says y equals 2x minus 3. I don't know if you can see that. We're going to zoom it in just a tad there. And what you're going to do is you will begin with graphing the first one. So you'll begin at -3. So I'll go down 1, 2, 3 at -3. And then from there, I'm going to rise 2. Now, if your slope is not a fraction, you can make it 1. It's 2 over 1. And you'd go rise over run, which is a simple way to remember go up and right. So I would go up and right, and I could keep doing that, up and right, up 2, right 1. Or I could do the opposite, which would be if I go down 2, left 1, a negative divided by a negative would also give me a positive slope. So, but what I want to make sure you're doing is also make sure it is very important that you use a straight edge. Okay, now it could be like the end of your phone case. Some of you, it depends on what kind of phone cases you have. I've seen some pretty fancy ones. But it could be a ruler, but I never say ruler specifically because it doesn't have to be something that you can measure with. It just has to be something that helps you form that straight line. Some people have even used the edge of their folders. Okay, the other one, we're going to start at 2. We're going to start at 2, and then that slope is actually -3 over 1. Okay, so that means this time I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3 and to the right 1. Down 1, 2, 3 and right 1. Now again, I could go the opposite and I could go up 3, 1, 2, 3 and left 1. Now when you look at this, you're going to see, I'm going to draw it in two separate things. I always want to draw through the points. Now if you look at my points, they have a spot right there where they're the same. They're exactly the same crossing. And that ordered pair would be a 1 for your x's. You'd go right 1 for your x's, down for your y's. So your solution in this case is 1, -1. Simple as that. Okay, now I'm going to show you another one where we have one of those ones I told you had to memorize. So if you have y equals negative x plus 1, I'm going to start at 1, because that's my y-intercept. Now my slope this time, it just says negative x, but x isn't a number right now. We need to say what's the coefficient. So it's negative 1. And we're going to make it a fraction by putting a 1 under it. So I'll go down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1, and I can continue in that fashion. I can also go up and left 1, up and left 1. And again, I'm going to start off and I'm going to use my straight edge. I'm going to make sure I have enough points that I know, all right, I want to keep going through. Now, if you do the other one, x equals 3, 1, 2, 3, what kind of lines form at x equals 3? Well, if you remember from my little thing, we exercise standing up. So guess what? This one's going to go like this. My point's going to fall right there in the center. Oh, I made you bounce. I hope I didn't get you sick there. And then you're going to have 1, 2, 3, and down 2. 3, negative 2. That will be your solution.